Hi, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Hawnt. I talk about VHS on this channel, amongst other things like pop culture and weird old cult films, but mainly stuff on VHS because I'm big into that. If you may have read my book, VHSatemybrain, thank you very much for that. There's a revised version of that coming out very soon, which I'm starting the marketing on. What else have I been up to lately? I've been making music under the name Silent Fallout. I've got an experimental thing coming out this month, which is very weird and very unsettling. So that's much like me in that case. And if you saw my previous video on finding a VHS goldmine on the Internet Archive, when I was finding trailers and stuff, I finished that project. I cut together an hour-long compilation of cult film trailers and called it Video Stores Ain't My Brain. Of course I did. I've hired a private cinema screening room where I'm going to view that on the big screen this month, later this month. I could have just watched it on TV or on laptop, but I want to see it on the big screen. I think that would be fun, and it gives me an excuse to go to a certain place that I love dearly. But I will mention that again soon. So I was wondering, I want to talk on this video about the future of the VHS collecting hobby. Does it have a future? Does anything with such a deep ingrained layer of nostalgia have a future? And while I do that, I'm going to idly browse eBay, so it's not just my beautiful face talking at you. I want to give you some variety there. So I've just literally gone on eBay and set the search to VHS, see what comes up, and yeah, I see a lot of mass market tapes. Now this is something that's come to mind. The mass market tapes, you can't get them in the wild anymore. Charity shops don't take them, second-hand stores don't take them. They've just dried up. I haven't seen any in the wild in a long time, and that means they have moved on to eBay. As you see here, there's loads of people selling huge bundles of stuff. Horror, sci-fi, 18s, VHS tapes, any three for less than £10. Pick and mix. I have to open that just in case. But while these big bunches of mass market tapes are available, there's a lot of them out there. The things that collectors will want, personally speaking, as a collector, I would imagine that more people would be interested in X-rentals and things that are connected to the video store zeitgeist and that whole part of pop culture that was so huge for so long. And I think in recent years the VHS collecting scene has exploded. I mean, I was doing it on and off for about 20 years now. In early 2000s, I think I started picking a few up. Got serious about it in about 2009 and joined the Horror VHS Collectors Unite page on Facebook, which then, at the time when I first joined it, had about 600 members, and it's got tens of thousands now. And it was just nice to find other people that were into this stuff. And that's what was the impetus behind writing vhsatemybrain, was being able to give something back to this scene that I had found that I felt such a kinship with and camaraderie with. So that was a long time ago, and at that point you could pick videos up in charity shops and things for like 25p, 10p, a pound here and there if it was a posh charity shop. But I was generally picking them up for between like 10 and 50 pence or so. What's that one? Vintage black box VHS tape, the second victory. No, thank you. See, this is what happens when I don't look at horror. I just bring up all kinds of weird stuff. Russ Meyer movies. You know, you want them. And it's just made me think, the stuff has dried up in the wild. A lot of things have moved over to collectors and these private groups and things like that. But does that have a future? Does that give a future? The community really has exploded in recent years. There are so many retro channels out there, and I've added one, sorry. And there's so many people on Instagram that come and find me with their VHS content, and I go and follow them and check it out. And it's great to see all this stuff that people have gathered over so many years. And I think personally that the scene does have a future. Granted, it may become more and more niche once this retro interest has passed. These things are cyclic. Each generation as each generation moves on, a nostalgia for a previous generation comes along. When I was growing up, there was a lot of nostalgia for the 60s, and then there was nostalgia for the 70s, and now it's the 80s with things like Stranger Things and things like Ready Player One being in the public consciousness and things like that are bringing all these retro things back, and that's great. And of course, now I've seen some 90s nostalgia coming up. I don't know, there's probably a nostalgia for last week by now, I don't know. But I do think that these things will move more just to collectors, to the specialist groups, maybe conventions of the future, so we can get together. Maybe that will be the lifeblood that keeps this scene going. As things drop off in the wild and prices start to go up on eBay, not necessarily for like mass market tapes like you're seeing here, but in terms of like X rentals or the video nasties or rare editions and things like that, or anything like that, those prices, I see them rising and availability falling quite severely. So I do think that it will go underground. It will go a bit more underground, and we'll see some changes to the scene. It'll be a bit quiet in public, but I think it will move to more a niche thing with little get-togethers and Facebook groups here and there, and trading going on. But at the moment, people are offloading lots of... there's nothing I want there. Lots of mass market tapes. I understand that. The interest in VHS is clear at the moment. There's been such an upsurge in it that I can understand people wanting to sell what they've got in the loft or what they've got left over from years ago in boxes in their garage or things like that. But these things are not ones that will get a load of money. Unless they're really odd or obscure or ex-rentals, I don't think. So I think what we will see is, I think a lot of mass market produced tapes will find themselves going to the Dimension Collection VHS, Highlander, Blade Runner and Dune. That could be a good set. 3x3 Eyes. I'm distracted now. I think what we'll see is we will see mass market tapes start to vanish. I think a lot of them will go to the dump. I think a lot of them will end up in landfill or destroyed in some way. And that's sad. That is sad, because it's another element of the VHS era that is being taken away and is being erased from pop culture history. I mean, a lot of people now don't know what these things even are. I did see a picture shared on Instagram where someone had asked, how did we burn CDs back in the day? I'm like, oh my god, that's about 3 days ago, isn't it, that we used to be burning CDs? It's a very odd situation that I find us in at the moment. Look at these as boxes and boxes and boxes of it's the Toolbox Murders remake, Mask of Murder. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. Loads and loads of mass market, mass produced tapes that were done for the general retail market, and there's a lot of those out there. But I think our taste as collectors will become increasingly specific, you know, to like individual directors or a company. Say, like, if I wanted to. So this may entirely happen, just go and find all the Palace videos or the Palace premieres. I loved those tapes. But that sort of thing could happen, and it's an interesting thing. We will have to see what happens, but that was my thought on this subject. I think that the scene will continue in some form, but it may drop off in terms of public awareness of it again soon, and but then it'll come back again, and loads more people, another generation, may well discover these weird black boxes full of magnetic tape. And why not? They're great fun. So thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex. Do like and subscribe if you like what I've been talking about for more VHS, cult film, retro, pop culture and all kinds of stuff coming up on this channel. There's loads more to come. I do hope you've enjoyed yourself here, and I hope you'll join me again. Thanks for watching Planet Hex.